This is going to be a different kind of video. I'm just going to talk, let it all out. I've given time to really reflect on this life experience I've had, and now I want to share with you not only my story, but my findings. I left a 4-year relationship, and a lot of people in my life are very confused, sad, angry. They're not understanding why it happened. It wasn't some simple thing like somebody cheated or moved away. My answer to them would only make them even more confused, although some were very thankful I left right away with no questions asked. The perfected, simple answer of why I left is because I wasn't happy. The more detailed answer? I gained consciousness, and this only came to be within the last month of us being together. My mind was awakening to all these issues in a relationship and the reality of them, and this wasn't only the issues in my relationship, but over the past 3 months, everything in my life I was analyzing. This is when I realized I didn't want to be in the relationship anymore. I told him, and he begged for more time. I gave him more time again. However, I cut it short because I didn't want to give him false hope. There wasn't anything fixable, I came to notice. Why? We were in a cycle of having the same fight over and over again. The "I don't feel like you love me anymore" fight. This had been going on for over a year. There was no romance on his end, or at least he thought things were romantic, but they were things you would do with just friends, like watching a movie in your living room. Because of the lack of romance, I felt as though we were better off as just friends. We tried to work through this obviously as it went on for more than a year, but again, I put far too much energy into it and received none back. I felt as though he wasn't trying, and perhaps he was, but his version of trying is different than mine, and that's another reason we're not meant to be. However, he changed from the beginning of the relationship to the end, as I'm sure I did as well. We used to write love letters back and forth, but one day he stopped, and I tried to keep the romance going, but eventually I gave up. You can only love a dog attacking your hand long enough before you pull away. We were both very controlling of one another. We wanted the other to do certain things or not do certain things, and we would threaten to leave if they didn't. If only we would have stopped sacrificing things for each other and realized we were incompatible. The things we were giving up and doing were things that we were going to regret, things that were going to make us lose who we truly were. All of the fighting and controlling of each other was really unhealthy, and it was preventing me from manifesting. I had already ended toxic friendships after analyzing them, but I never even thought that my relationship might be toxic. I was a controller, as was he. I was a savior, staying with him to make him happy while I suffered. Although I recognize he also was a savior to others he helped. I was the lowest I could be on the enlightenment scale. No manifestation could occur because I was a controller, and I was a savior, and I still felt it growing inside of me, begging me to escape. He was working towards doing a few of the things I wanted in a significant other, by choice. I always gave him the option to leave if it was too much. And most of the things, it was something that I wanted us to do together as a couple. I wanted to be minimalist, and I wanted to be more zero waste. I wanted to strive for that. But the one thing that I already was that he wasn't, that I did want him to dive into and learn more about, was veganism. He said he would be happy to do them because they will make him a better person, and I felt bad that I was essentially forcing him to do these things when he wasn't doing them on his own accord. I felt like I was messing up his path. I thought he was doing the things to keep me instead of for himself. Others would see him doing these big things and assume I was the controller, not taking into consideration the things I was being made to do to maintain the relationship as well. I lost myself, and he lost himself, because we were deciding what the other was supposed to be like. I can't even begin to remember every single small thing we made each other do. There were so many things. We were not allowed to talk to certain people, not allowed to hang out with certain people, not allowed to have our hair a certain way, not allowed to get the tattoos we wanted, and the things we allowed each other to do or not do split up and differentiate after that. I was repressing my true self for so long. Eventually, I tried to express myself by going against some of his wishes. He, of course, got angry, and it led to fights. Again, repress, repress. Did he really love me for who I was in those moments, or did he love past me, the depressed me that was desperate for love, the me that I no longer was? I felt as though we were so unright for each other. Perhaps that's why he stopped writing love letters. I didn't want to repress myself any further. I didn't want him to do anything else for me because I realized then and there I'm not the one. There is someone else out there for both of us. Someone who won't make us change, and someone who already is what we want, someone who we don't have to try so hard to love. So I left, because it wasn't love anymore. It was two desperate people who didn't want to be alone, trying to create the one instead of find the one. I made a tough decision that years ago I wouldn't have had the courage to have made. Past me wouldn't dare break up with somebody, wouldn't dare ever leave, because past me was scared of being alone. Scared that I wouldn't be able to make another day without somebody to love me. Past me found similarities between him and I. We fought through life together. We made the other stronger. Of course he is hurt, because we got through so much together, but we were dragging each other down at the same time. We were like two wild animals trapped in a cage. He got comfortable, and I was trying to escape. I knew he wouldn't leave me. He had not gained consciousness yet, and realized what we were doing to one another. I tried to get him to see before I left so he wouldn't be as hurt, but you can't make somebody see what you do until they themselves are ready to open their eyes. I really do hope he will understand why I left one day. I hope he understands I tried to leave as soon as I noticed, to prevent hurting him any further. I hope he knows I didn't mean to hurt him, but help him. I hope he realizes I didn't mean to control him on purpose. It just happened, and I feel so bad for everything he felt the need to do because he was scared to lose me. I hope he can now find his true self, and one day find the one who's right for him. I wish him all the best, I truly do. He is still my bestest friend in my heart, and I care about him so much because of all we have been through together. I hope one day we will be able to connect again and be friends, because I don't want a grudge to be held and 4 years of friendship to mean nothing. It meant everything to me and will forever be a part of who I am. This relationship has taught me so much about myself and what I do to other people and what I need and want in my life, and I can't wait to see where I go on my next journey, as it's only the beginning of the next chapter of my life.